you very much. I'll go now then. That's me. If anybody's got any questions, please do put your hand up, because I'm a bit nervous and I've not really done this before. My journey into Islam, my background in my 20s and 30s was one of a musical background really, and I worked in London in the music industry. I worked in media as the years went on and I got a bit older. I worked in radio and stuff. So I've got a pretty westernised background. My parents are non-Muslim, not following any particular faith, but probably Christian if they had to. Weren't practising, so I didn't have a religious upbringing as such. But in 2003, I decided to host foreign students at my house, students that were coming over to learn English, etc. I rented my room out to various people from all over the world. Some of them were Arab students, and my introduction to Islam was made really. We had various discussions on faith and spirituality. First and foremost to me was spirituality of any kind really, almost paganistic to some extent. I had a lot of paganistic type friends. I was studying to be a holistic therapist, so I was meeting a lot of spiritual people on my journey anyway. I studied Native American culture and history for 4 years, and whilst I worked in music, I went over to America and travelled America and met Native American people, full-blood Native Americans, spent time with them, went to the reservations, etc. And there I found that I could kind of worship God, or worship the earth, Mother Earth as such, and really appreciate what we have. And from then, I met the Arab students, as I said, and I was looking for a bit more. And aside from faith and spirituality in my life at that time, I decided I was drinking too much alcohol. Alcohol had been a big part of my life since I worked in music, and I'd pretty much been on the stage from the age of 14, playing and performing in bands and managing and promoting bands as well. And the social aspect of that is 24/7, as you can imagine. And I was drinking a lot. I've had my I had my first daughter, Madeleine, when I was 28, and I was still working in music to a certain extent, but more on the sidelines. I've moved back here to Nottingham, to London, and had a responsibility of my daughter basically. And by the time she was probably 4 years old, I could pretty much say I was probably an alcoholic, which is not a good thing to do really. So I was kind of going off the rails. At one point I was done for drink driving, which really stopped me in my tracks, literally. I lost my job through that. I was working for a media organisation, working with kids that had been kicked out of school and wanted to pursue a more media type music route. And I was a coordinator for that school that was set up in Nottingham. It was a government funded organisation. It was something I was really passionate about. And I lost my job through that. I was in a lot of debt. I lost my house. So me and my daughter were pretty much homeless really. Through this time, it was really strange. I always see it as a sign from Allah. But I met these Arab students and they spoke to me about their faith and their spirituality. And I was quite intrigued and curious. I loved their perspective on life, and they were much younger than me, but their perspective was so mature and their outlook was really positive. And it just intrigued me even more to the point where my daughter went to a school in Nottingham, and we had a couple of Muslim mums that went there. So I decided to go and ask them about Islam. So I went up to my now friend who wore hijab. Obviously I didn't wear hijab, and said, "Are you Muslim?" You know, a bit of a silly question. Didn't know how to introduce myself, but she took me under her wing. She was lovely, and the first book I read was Muhammad by Martin Lings, which is a wonderful book. I actually cried at the end of it. And I then pursued learning how to pray, started reading the Quran in English, obviously. My study started from there. It took me about 6 months to learn how to pray. Obviously, it's a different language, and I had to get used to the Arabic aspect of the faith. And my parents were a bit stunned. At first, they thought I was hanging out with some radicalised, weird people, and they were okay with it. I was at an age where I was old enough to make my own decisions. It's not like I was 18 or anything. I was 33, and they knew I used to have phases about cultures, and I used to want to study different things, and I was very much a learning person. So they weren't that astounded when I said, I'm learning about Islam. They just thought it was a phase. It took me a couple of years to decide whether I wanted to convert to Islam and take my Shahada. I was still sort of half in, half out, still going clubbing, still not, still drinking, still not, all of that. Wasn't quite sure if it was going to suit me or not, because it's a big commitment. Islam is not, it's not only a religion, if you want to call it that, it's a whole way of life. And from a holistic perspective, I loved it for that. And I decided to hold on to Islam because it helped me give up drinking, it helped me grow up, and it helped me stay on a path that was positive and real for me. So I came completely away from music with all its temptations. I had to. And I started studying my faith properly. In 2005, I decided to take my Shahada with a good friend of mine, and I decided to make the commitment to Islam, which was a massive step for me. I mean, I was a real, go-getter, driven, ambitious, out there, music, everything else. For me, it did tone me down to a certain extent, but I needed that. And I have really, really supportive non-Muslim friends. I've got some fantastic friends. One of my best friends is a tattoo artist, which is completely haram in Islam. But she has been the most supportive person of me coming into my faith. She's seen how much it's changed me for the better. After 2 years of study, when I took my Shahada, I told my parents, and after my Shahada, I've never been married. And after my Shahada, I said, I'm going to start looking for a husband. And they both turned around in the kitchen at me, and they had this look of, oh, you really are wanting to be a husband then. It's not just a fact. It's not just studying it and then you're going to leave it and just go back to old Joe. It's like, no, this is real. And they were like, oh, okay, so are your friends okay? Are your new friends okay? They were so worried about me being radicalised or going into this extremism that people think is Islam. So I tried to kind of, reassure them, I want to take this path that's really good for me. Obviously they saw the good things that happened to me and the way that I was being now and everything else, not drinking and stuff. So they kind of went along with it. And they were a bit concerned. I met my husband, and it was a proper Islamic courtship, never on our own together, always at his friends' houses, or, he came from a different city, I didn't know him from Adam, he could have been anybody, so I had various references from people as to his character and things like that. And my parents at the last minute decided to come to my Islamic marriage, which was a massive, special thing for me, because they'd not really taken any part in my growth into Islam. They just kind of left me to it. And my dad was, at my wedding, I think my dad almost broke down in tears. He was just so overwhelmed by the amount of Muslim guys that turned up, obviously all his friends and everything, to support us, and it was just lovely. From then on, I stopped drinking, stopped smoking, had a more grown-up view of life. I was able to care for my daughter in the way I wanted to, I'm hoping, for a while, not affected her in any way by my wrongdoing. But yeah, Islam has saved me really, and I know it sounds a bit cliche and textbook, but I really was rescued. I don't think I'd be here right now if I hadn't have decided to become Muslim. Has anybody got any questions?
Thank you for sharing your story with us, Sister Jo. We're going to open up, we have 5 minutes for questions for Sister Jo. We're going to open up to the floor. I'll just come around with the mic if you have any questions for her. Please just raise your hand and I'll try to come over to you.
I know you said you had good friends to help you through it, but did it feel quite alien coming to the religion just because there's a lot of culture attached to it, especially in the UK? So how was that experience?
That's a good question. I don't know how to start. It's a big question actually, because coming into Islam, as I said earlier, is a way of life. It's a complete life change. And for me it was a big struggle. I'm not going to deny that. And I still struggle, as we probably all do, if we're going to be honest. But I don't know how to start with that. Can you ask me again?
Okay, I'll phrase it easier. What helped you through this disconnect with the culture of Islam, just because it's so different?
I think people that revert to Islam are free of any cultural baggage for a start, obviously. They've not been brought up with Islam or any parentage there. I think, without being disrespectful to anybody else that might be born into Islam, I think reverts do tend to play by the book a lot more, because that's all they have to hold on to. They don't have any cultural influence there to make them decide how to be as a Muslim. There are certain cultures that have certain ways of doing things, but with reverts we don't have that. We have to be, as the book says really, we don't have any cultural influence. So in a way it's easier. But then to fit into a Muslim society of different cultures, that's difficult.
Yeah.
Because as a revert, 98% are going to marry into a Muslim family or have a Muslim husband that's been born Muslim, or vice versa. And it's the culture that is the real struggle, yeah. The faith, when I first came into Islam, I was so almost virginal about it. It was this beautiful, amazing faith that was just so beautiful. And I used to rave about it all the time to all my non-Muslim friends and everything, how lovely it was, and how peaceful and happy I felt about it. And a lot of the different cultural values can kind of dampen that a little bit. And it's very difficult for a revert to try and fit into a Muslim cultural family unit. My husband was from Algeria. He has his own culture, as all countries do. And it was a very difficult struggle for me to get my head around that, yeah. It is a hard thing to do. Culture is hard.
Yeah.
Faith's easy. It's the culture that's hard.
Thank you.
Hi. Just wondering, when you explored all these other kind of religions, particularly what you refer to as paganism, and I assume you kind of looked into other kind of faiths like Christianity, but I mean, particularly paganism, what about it did you not find convincing? And do you feel like the kind of indigenous tribes who still practice paganism, do you think that, having experienced their culture, they get on quite fine without Islam?
Absolutely, yeah. I respect all, especially indigenous people. I studied Native American culture for many years. And paganism is part of everybody's history, whether they like it or not. Before Islam it was paganism. And especially in this country, it's a very deep-rooted faith of its own, really, that isn't really that recognised anymore. People don't walk around going, oh, I'm pagan, You don't meet many people like that. There are pagan communities in Nottingham, there are pagan groups that I mix with on a weekly basis and work with as a holistic therapist. I do respect it, I do like it, I do believe what they do is real, you know. But it wasn't for me in terms of my goal. What I found through studying Native American culture was having a respect for the earth and having a respect for grandfather, who would be Allah in Islam. But I needed to connect with God. That was my main focus, and I couldn't find a way of doing that in any other faith. I just wanted the one God that I could connect to. And in Islam I found that. And I wasn't even looking for Islam. It wasn't something that was on my agenda, especially for the way that I was as a person. I never thought I would ever, in a million years, become Muslim. Never.
We have time for one more question. Just so we could give an opportunity for one of the sisters to ask.
So being a woman of faith and obviously wearing the hijab and everything, I was just wondering what obstacles you have faced, because it can be a hostile environment, especially when you're outwardly practicing, like your religion is present in your appearance. So what kind of...
Okay, when I first studied Islam before I took my Shahada, I didn't wear my scarf. I wore it to the mosque out of respect, and I wore it to classes if I was studying Islam in a classroom environment. It wasn't until just after my Shahada that I started wearing my scarf a bit more. But it was a very difficult thing for me because it was something I've never experienced in my life. My parents were certainly against it. You know, they just thought it was ridiculous to have to cover yourself. I did actually start wearing jilbabs before I started wearing my scarf. And that was my way of covering. And my parents and my family and my aunties and stuff seemed to accept that more than me wearing my scarf. It was when I put my scarf on that it was a real issue for my parents. They couldn't understand it. And especially after I got married, because my husband's family came over, he's got a lot of sisters, he's got a big family, mashallah. They didn't wear hijab, so I was up against it then because they're obviously born into a Muslim environment, into an Islamic country. And my parents would say, well, they don't wear the scarf, why are you wearing it, you know? And they come from an Islamic country, what are you wearing it for? And I say, well, it's part of my faith and it's part of my identity of who I am, and I'm proud of that. And without me wearing my scarf, I can't say Assalamu alaikum to people in the street because they're just going to look at me gone out. You know? You're trying to be funny. So yeah, the other obstacles have been a couple of friends have fallen by the wayside. You know, they couldn't understand my conversion into Islam. They thought I didn't need it. You know, I was a good enough person as I am. You know, what's going on? Fair enough. You know, you can only say so much to people. But yeah, I've not really had obstacles in terms of. Do you mean like hate crime and stuff like that? Being white and stuff? No, I haven't actually. Alhamdulillah, I've not. Inshallah, I don't. I mean, it depends on what you perceive as hate crime. This could be a whole new subject tonight to talk about, but I won't go into it. But I was stalked a few years ago, and I decided, out of the struggle of being stalked, which was horrendous, it started with phone calls, anonymous phone calls. Then it was lingerie through the post, so they'd taken credit out in my name. I'd just had a baby, so I was a lot larger than I am now. You know, it was somebody that was looking at me, following me to work. I had my tyre slashed on my drive. They sent me emails saying I was fake. And when I got the email to say I was fake, that's when I thought maybe it was a hate crime. But hate crime wasn't around then. This was in 2010. Nobody had heard of stuff like that. How do you report it to the police? I couldn't. They couldn't help me until something physical would have happened. So I literally had to just try and grin and bear it. But I actually did take my scarf off. And that's when it stopped. And that's sad. But I'll be honest with you, I did. And I didn't wear it for 2 years after that. So I've only been wearing it now again for the last probably 3 years. But I was fearing for my life. didn't have any support from the police, and what did you do? When I looked stuff,
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Joe, and for taking the time out to answer our questions. Could you just give her a round of applause?